Welcome. Today's session is for Nigerians in diaspora. All right, now if you're a Nigerian in diaspora and you want to invest in real estate in Nigeria, there are certain things that you have to do. My DM is full of different sub and bad stories about people who have gotten scammed in Nigeria, issues with location, discovering that what they actually thought they were buying wasn't what they eventually bought, and a lot of other issues. So in today's video, I'll be delving into 5 essential tips that if you follow, you would be able to avoid getting scammed in real estate in Nigeria. Welcome to this live session. So the first tip is the location, and this is very key. I've had instances where Nigerians in diaspora will reach out to me and say, I want to buy a property. I'm told that it is in Lekki. Now, I usually ask them and say, Lekki is big. You have to be specific. Now, sometimes the person wants to buy things they're buying in Lekki Phase 1, but it's actually somewhere closer to Ekwe than it is to Lekki Phase 1. You have to be sure of the location. And how to do this is to ask for the details of the property. If you are not able to come at the beginning of the transaction to come and look at the exact location, then you want to ensure there's a video tour. It's quite easy to do a video tour these days with our phones and our devices, and you can really know where exactly you're buying land so that you don't think you're buying in a certain area, but you're actually buying it somewhere else. Also, you can use our Google Maps device. So if the person or the agent selling to you can pin the exact location on Google Map and send it to you, you will be able to check it and exactly trace where the location is, so that the issue of you buying a property or thinking you're buying a property in an area, but then when you come physically to see it, you see that it's different, doesn't arise. I've also had instances where we've had some of our clients reach out to us and say, we need you to go and check out this area. We want to know where exactly it is. So whichever one works for you, you can work with your agent, you can work with an independent person, just to be sure that what you think you really are buying is what you are buying. Now, that is very important for ascertaining the location. Now, the second essential tip that you must do is to ask the necessary questions. And if there's anything about investing in real estate, as it is with other types of assets, whatever asset you want to invest in, you have to know how to go about it, and you have to know how to get the right answers by asking the right questions. All right. Who is the owner of this property? How did this person become the owner of the property? What's the proof that they are the owner of the property? What exactly is the property in question? These are the questions that you have to ask. And ideally, if you are buying a property, if you're buying from anyone, it's a huge red flag if they're not giving you the necessary information that you need to help you make the best decision. Yes, it's a red flag. So asking the right questions is very key when you're investing in real estate. If you're not ready to ask the right questions, you will lose your money. I remember a situation where a client of ours was going to buy a property, and he reached out to us. So we asked the seller a few questions, and from just asking, we knew that there was trouble, because what the seller was saying, they could not really provide any evidence. They were just telling us with just oral evidence, nothing to show that okay, this seller actually owns this property, nothing to tie them to it, and it wasn't like they held it under native law and custom. All right, so asking the necessary questions is very crucial. Now, and the third thing that you need to know is that you need to verify. So if you've asked questions, for instance, you've asked the necessary questions and you've gotten answers to those questions, you need to verify whatever answer you are giving. Because anyone, the thing that makes real estate quite risky, unlike every other type of asset, is that it is fixed. If you're buying anything else, like let's say you're buying a house, let's say you're buying a car. If you're buying any other item that you can physically move, once you have made payment for it, you can carry it with you to where you want it to be. But that's not the case with real estate. It's still going to be there. It is fixed, and that's why it's easy for people to be scammed. Where that's why we have instances where people say this same land, or this same land was sold to like 5 people, because if they take someone there today and show the person and the person pays, another person, they can bring another, take another person there tomorrow, the person pays. There's nothing that you can physically be able to see to show that this land has been bought. Although I will still get to that in the last stage of this live session. But it's very important that you want to verify. Okay, verify ownership of the land. Who owns this land? How did they get ownership? All right, and whatever information that you are giving, you need to verify it. Okay, you don't just take information at face value. You need to make sure it is proven. And this is the case where you will then need to engage professionals. So you need a lawyer to check out the title, because when it comes to issue of ownership, there are many mistakes that you can make with real estate, and you can rectify them. But when you buy a property that has legal issues, that has title issues, there is no solution to it. It's incurably bad. If I sell a property to you that is not mine, the worst that you're going to get is maybe you drag me, you take me to court to collect back your money. But you and I know that that's going to take a long time. The value of the money is going to go down by the time you get it, and you cannot force me to give you that land because it doesn't belong to me. I'm using that as an example. All right, so a mistake as to title, and title means ownership, as to legal issues is one that you don't make. So usually I always encourage anyone who is buying real estate to get a lawyer to conduct due diligence on the title. So title is whoever owns that property will look at how they really got ownership. Are they really the owners? Are there any legal issues? Do they have documents to prove that they own the property? It's very important because you cannot give what you don't have. It is after you have done the necessary due diligence and done all the necessary checks and asked all the necessary questions. This process is what we call the due diligence process. That you can go over to making payments. All right. Now you then go over to making payments, and that's the fourth essential tip. When it comes to making payments, ensure that there's an electronic trail. Of course, I don't expect anyone who wants to buy real estate to be paying with cash. For me, that's even a huge red flag. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are paying into an account, and you want to verify. This is part of the things that we usually encourage our clients for. You want to be sure that you are actually paying into the account of the owner. If, for instance, you're buying a property house from someone and on their title documents, the name is different from the account you want to pay to, then you want to exercise some caution because you want to be sure that there's synchronization. So if you're buying from Mr. So and so and it says pay into this account and the account belongs to the company, you want to be sure what's the correlation. Even if he is the only shareholder of that company, the company is a different entity, it's different from an individual. So you want to really manage that situation. You want to confirm if in that situation what I will advise. And of course, this is not legal advice. This is just legal information. So to make sure you still get to ask a lawyer if you are going through this particular scenario. But what I would usually advise would be to say, okay, if someone is saying pay into an account and the property belongs to an individual, but it's saying pay into account, then you want to get something written down saying actually stating that it's okay to pay into that account. All right, so that's like a summary of what I would usually advise. Okay, so it's very important the payment process. And when you are paying, ensure that you have your documentation done and the seller is also signing, because you can't sell land to someone or sell a house to someone orally. There has to be proper documentation transferring ownership to you. I'll leave a link in the description box below about documentation in real estate. Doing your documentation is very important because if you don't do the necessary documentation, you don't own that property. And the likelihood you're going to lose your money is very high. All right. So documentation, doing the proper documentation is very key. Now, the last but not the least is that you've got to ensure that you take possession of the property. It's very important. So I've had situations where our clients buy properties and maybe they're not around physically, but we have maybe a family member or a friend who is around during the closing, and we're sure that they take possession. For instance, if it's a house, the keys, you collect the keys of that house. Okay, it's very important. Possession means that you being in actual physical occupation of the property, that physically you are not occupying the property. If you remember that earlier in this video, I talked about a scenario where how it is, what makes it easy for people to lose money in real estate because it's fixed and you can take someone to a land today and someone buys it and you can take another person there tomorrow, another person to buys it because there's nothing online showing that it's been sold. So if you are buying real estate, taking possession is one thing that you want to ensure that you do once you buy the real estate. So I'll leave a link below where I talk about what possession is and how to take possession, whether you're buying a house or you're buying land. Taking possession is very key. So to do a recap, we have talked about 5 essential tips to help Nigerians in diaspora avoid getting scammed. We talked about ascertaining the location of the property, asking the right questions, verifying ownership of the property, doing the necessary documentation when they make payment for the property, and taking possession of the property. So these are very important things that if you follow, the likelihood that they are going to lose your money to scams in real estate is very, very slim. And of course, always ensure that whatever assets you're investing in, you know enough about the assets. All right. So if you check my channel, you will see more videos to help you invest your hard-earned money in safe and scam-free real estate in Nigeria, all right? And if you will need any of our legal services, you can click the link in the description box, all right? So I would encourage you to watch this video next on how to take possession of property. It's going to be of help to you. I would also leave the link in the description box below. So make sure to do watch those videos. Thank you and see you in that video.